Greetings to all of my fellow change makers, and we are back with another amazing interview. I just love it. We keep finding change makers from all over the world. We have been around the world the last couple of weeks, and now we're coming back into the US. And gee, I didn't even ask you, Elizabeth. I'm assuming you're probably in North Carolina. Is that correct?
I am in North Carolina by way of Brooklyn, New York.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's two very different environments to be sure. But we are so fortunate to have you with us today, Elizabeth. And please tell people who you are, what you do, and what makes you so amazing.
Oh my gosh. I am just, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here with these change makers. I'm just in awe to be able to share a word with you. I am Elizabeth McNeil and I reside right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been here 34 years. That makes me pretty much a resident here, not necessarily Brooklyn. I left going when I went away for college. And so I was here. My career is as a research scientist, but my love is for young people, ages 12 to 18. I feel like they are a generation of people who still have chance if they have guidance and people pour into their lives. Thus, that's why I have been certified as a coach to be able to teach the program called BOLD. It's not any acronym, it is just BOLD because that's what we want them to be. We want them to be bold, we want them to believe in themselves, we want them to have the ability to voice what it is that they need unapologetically and to lead with kindness.
Mm. I love that. I love that. And that's such a unique combination in today's world. I mean, I absolutely believe that we all need to find our authentic voice, our truthful voice. But to be able to do that with kindness, I think that's almost becoming a lost art. I mean, how do you perceive what's going on and the importance of that kindness piece?
Yeah, you're so right. Kindness, you know, I think one of the things that has happened in society itself is that we've all acclimated to these devices, which causes us to be in a world within ourselves, and therefore not in the have the ability to focus, look someone in the eye, and have a conversation. To even recognize that there are other beings around you. And so they've gotten so absorbed into this, and the pandemic didn't help that situation, and it's such a, we're still climbing out of that situation. And working with kids, I started back in 2016 and I reconnected with a group just this year, 2024, actually. And the severity of not being able to look you in the eye. And one of the things that I, in my programs, is definitely device free. And once you take the device away, it's like the hands, like, they like freeze up, and they like, and you want them to feel open, and you want them to feel safe into the space, but it's such a challenge. And so you begin to just, I believe it's just the energy within the room. You create a space of feeling safe. And then we just start with our first module, because I have 7 modules that we go through, is all about just environment. And so, in order to be connected to the environment, you have to come out of this connection with your devices. And so, we leave environment and we go to joy.
Wow.
And that is just those 2 weeks alone are amazing, because they get empowered in what they can do for themselves in environment, and that brings them joy. That in itself is like such a new concept, because they've been, in that position. And so it opens them up to how we bring joy, how to start each and every day with joy. We do an exercise where we literally, what are things that give you joy? Give me
Mm,
30 because we're going to put it on colorful paper. We're going to put it in a jar. We're going to take out one each and every day because the
yes.
onset of the day is where you set up your success.
Mm.
That's how we bring joy into the young
Ooh,
people.
ooh, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I mean, just getting them away from the devices to begin with is so huge, but getting them to a place where they can start to communicate with each other in a more face-to-face way. I mean, that is so lost in our society right now. So, oh my gosh, kudos to you, my dear. That is huge. We need you working with lots of kids.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. So the third piece is about movement.
Mhm.
The society, different administrations have taken away the ability in the school systems to have movement. Without movement, you die. I mean, you have to have movement. You have to have movement because the body will begin to just shrink and shrivel up on you. And so movement is so vitally important in order to give you life on the
Mhm.
back end.
Mm,
It allows you to maintain your independence.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew, I love it. Well, and when we were doing our event last year on suicide prevention, I wish you had been part of our event, because the things you're talking about are all parts of the core that's necessary to get our children back to a place of joy in living. And that's what I sense from you is that's the real goal, is to
Mhm.
help them find joy in living again. So many of our young people, they don't feel that right now, and that is one of the saddest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. It is very sad. And if you take away joy, you take away life. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
you just snuff it out. And so there's joy in so many things. One of the
Yes.
modules is about nutrition.
Mhm.
And society does they do a bad job at it. I'm just gonna
Yes,
say.
they do.
I mean, they do like this trillion billion-dollar industry of diet, and it's like, no, it's not about diet.
Mm-mm.
It's about joy. It's about moderation, and it's
Mhm.
about paying attention to what gives you joy.
Absolutely.
Nutrition is like, so we don't say good foods or we don't say bad foods. We say what gives you joy. If ice cream
Mm.
gives you joy, have the ice cream. It's all about moderation. It's all about
Moderation.
because you're doing the movement.
Yes.
You're doing the
Yes.
movement. Celebrate it with the ice cream.
There you
Moderation. You're not going to build your whole diet, your whole menu on what you're eating
go.
on ice cream. But and it's one of the things that I encourage is that take away the device. You're not allowed this whole week while you're on this nutrition. You take away all the devices.
Wow.
You go into the kitchen and you use all the senses. Oh my gosh. Smell the joy of the food. Oh my gosh. Then you got to look at it, and then you have to take it and place it on your plate because I'm about making a beautiful plate. And then you're going to put it at a place setting that is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And you're just going to sit there and you're just going to smell it. And you're going to have gratitude, right? You're going to have gratitude. You're going to put it in your mouth. You're going to feel all the juices, all the textures, all the things. That's
Wow.
joyful, all that
Yes.
deliciousness. And the reason why you have to get rid of the device is because you now engage your entire mind to start digestion.
Mm.
And so the body now takes on this side. That's what the body is saying. Thank you.
Gonna
Thank
make me
you.
hungry here.
You're feeding me. And so through the courses that I've taught already, my kids come back saying, I never finished the food. I was full before I realized it.
Wow.
I
Wow.
had one student, this is like my number one story. I had one student who had COVID and lost her sense of taste.
Wow.
When she got back to us that following Sunday, she was like, let me tell y'all, I tasted my spaghetti for the first time since I was sick. Right
Wow.
here. It's about mindset and bringing joy through your nutrition.
There you go. Oh, I love it. You got to tell me what other chapters do you have in this program? This sounds amazing.
Oh my gosh, it gets better and better. And everyone builds on top of the other one. And so the next one is about style. And I love it because a lot of them say, I don't have no style. I was like, you got a t-shirt and jean on, that's style. Like
There you go.
that is style, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole concept around style is mindset. So now I'm going to take you into your closet and you're going to look at all the articles of clothing because our closets, they take up some real estate. I mean, clothes take up the real estate in the closet. And if you got clothes in there that are tattered, torn, and don't fit, they need to be handled. Your clothing should give you a sense of pride, confidence. It should feel good on your skin. It should give you joy to like, oh my gosh, I know what I'm wearing to school tomorrow. Or I know what I'm wearing when I go with the guys or the girls on a, to the movies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to intentionally go in that closet. And then we began to pull pieces out that are just taking up prime real estate. And then we end up with the clothing that gives us joy and the confidence when we walk out. And then it gets better because that's just the initial getting them to recognize what brings their joy, right? And so then I take them and I'm like, okay, let's go into that spot that you call a bedroom where you rest. What do you see? What's going on? Is it a jumble mess? Is things are just everywhere? That's telling you what's going on inside. Let's start there. Let's clean that up. And this is where my parents start connecting with me. Like, how did you do that? I'm like, you'll get
miracle woman.
you'll get all the nooks and crannies at your session as well. But I just love that piece because it lets them recognize that the environment that they're in, that they call their space, is a reflection of what's going on inside of them. And so that means that now you have to clean that up and see what the confusion is all about. And that brings us to mindset. So mindset is all about flipping those negative, I can, maybe, might, can't. No, we throw those out and we do a good pivot. I'm trying to really raise that grade in math. I'm really working hard at speaking kindly. We just flip all the conversations. Just flip. They come in with all these little conversations, and we flip. By the end of the week, we have created the positively in the air. Wow. We created positively. We create safeness. We create confidence. You have voice, and voice is our last session. You now have voice because you've cleaned up everything. You know who it is that who you are, how you, what it is that you need in order to get through your different daily activities, either be your friends or your family or your teachers or other adults that you have to answer to. And so we allow them to talk about how to have voice from a place of kindness and to advocate for themselves from
Mm,
a place of kindness. Because I believe if you lead with a place of kindness, then you bring your best authentic self to the forefront.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. I love what you're doing. It's like you are putting kids through a whole complete energetic makeover.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a full week of, just it's all about mindset. It's all about just staying in tune. And there's a couple of other little things that they have to work on. And journaling. Journaling is one of my I've done it since I was a kid and still do it
Mhm.
today because it's definitely a brain dump before you finish out your day and start the next one.
That is so awesome. And I
Yeah.
I know you've had some influences, growing up and in your life. What's some of that backstory that led you to understanding that this is a real passion project for you?
Yes. Thank you for asking that question because that's something that I had passion and loved and knew that I was called to do the work, but I still had this, I didn't know why. I didn't know why. And so I began to just look into some of the issues that would come up from childhood over and over and over and over again. And what I recognized through just talking through it, walking through it, journaling it, and being real about it was that in as a child, you always want your protector as a child is typically your mother or your father, whoever that adult is that is guiding you as a
Mhm,
young person.
mhm.
And so very early on, I was in a very vulnerable situation. And I could remember just crying, just hysterically. And I was just a little girl. And I was taken away. I was in my home with my parents, and I was taken away by one parent because the other parent was like, take this child. And so what I began to realize was that I had a grandmother. I had two grandmothers and a grandfather. My other grandfather passed when I was a little girl. And for my psyche was to always be with them. My
Mm,
comfort was to always be with them because I knew inside of me that there was something that they had for me. They had wisdom and knowledge that I needed to have.
yeah.
And so as I kept like revisiting that same little incident of what happened, I realized that the person who was responsible for giving me my protection was actually my grandmother.
Mm,
And she protected me through a lot of different scenarios. She was the one that was an advocate for me to leave Brooklyn to go away for college. She helped me with my first mode of transportation, how to work money into a bank account. She just managed to manage me in a way that I knew that she just was my protector. And
mhm,
when and because you're so ingrained to think it's your parents,
mhm.
and then it turns out not in this case. It just the tears and the release and the joy of that made me understand why I was so connected to my grandmother. And so
Abs
with that, I try to incorporate those kind of things to young parents, to parents that are in my spaces with
mhm.
the children that I connect with.
Love it. I love it. Sounds like your grandmother was one of your first known guardian angels.
Oh, absolutely. She was the one that taught you the Lord's Prayer. She showed you how to get down on your knees every night. She did all the things. Make sure you go to church, and she just did all the things. I can remember, that one song, "Onward, Christian soldiers marching off to
Mm,
war." Oh my gosh, she sent us to our first Bible camp. She was just And that's where I got saved at 13.
Wow.
She took us
Wow.
out of the city into the country every opportunity that she could. She was
Wow.
definitely a guardian angel for me. Yeah.
That is so beautiful, so beautiful. And now you're building a legacy of being able to pay it forward, all this knowledge and wisdom that you've acquired and from your grandmother, and be able to pay it forward to young people. I mean, do you have any big visions for the future? And I'll tell you, one of the reason I ask is because I know right now there are some amazing women in the Every Dot Black organization who are looking at putting together educational programs
Mhm.
to serve these young people. And I don't know. Do you see yourself working with other people, or are you kind of happy being the lone wolf out here?
No, actually, I love that question. It's not for me to be the lone wolf. It's for me to train the trainers. I see myself in the Boys and Girls Clubs. I see
Okay.
myself in a lot of the Girl Scouts, the Cub Scouts.
Nice.
I see myself showing teachers of young people how to incorporate these seven fundamental tools, these
Hmm.
foundational tools.
Hmm.
And so I want everybody to be able to know and how to do what I do, and do it with passion, because it if children can see through you. And
Yes.
so you really have to come with a heart of passion and empathy for who it is that they are, and see them for who they are. And so
Yes.
I see this being incorporated into any place where there are groups of young people
Nice.
gathered. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And yes, train the trainer sounds like a very good thing for you to be doing, for
Yeah.
sure. Oh my goodness. So if people are just loving the stuff that you're talking about here with young folks, how can they reach you?
Yes, good question. I can be reached at boldcoachelizabeth at gmail.com. That's the first place that I always look. So that's where you will get an immediate, well, not maybe not immediate, because I do have a 9 to 5, but you'll get a response from me way faster. I do have a website that is up and running. It's called boldcoachelizabeth.org.
Okay.
And I am happy to announce I am going to run my first cohort. I would like to have 20 participants in it, and that will start on May 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's like it's a 7-week program.
Okay. So just to be clear, now you're looking for the young people to be in this program, or are you looking for parents of young people to be in this program?
So it's kind of a two-way street there,
Both
because
and?
yes, both. And I what I do is I have a program. In my program, I have a worksheet for the parents, that I will talk to them in the beginning of the program, the midway, and at the end of the program as a wrap up. So they will get 3 sessions with me, and then the children will get 7 with a bonus wrap up at the
Awesome.
end. So it's for both, actually.
Okay. And is this something that you really can only offer there in the local Raleigh market, or are you able to do some things virtually with this?
Yes, I have run this program for 3 years virtually, and
Okay.
it has gone really, really well.
Good.
I've
Good.
I've it's done really well, and so I to reach more, the ideal thing is to do it virtually.
Yes.
Am I opposed to doing it locally? Not at all.
Hmm.
I'm not opposed to that at all, but virtual is the bigger reach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your message is something that needs to get out to a much broader audience. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, as we wrap this up today, do you have any final thoughts, final words of wisdom you'd like to leave people with?
Yes, there's a quote that I talk about that I heard from Michelle Obama. And in the quote, it says, staying true to oneself and remaining focused on one's goals, no matter the challenges faced along the way. And so I have always been that person. If you stay true to yourself and believe in who it is that you are unapologetically, then you will lead with kindness.
Mm.
And that's where it starts. And I believe that once those foundational tools are inherited into a person's life, a young person's life, they're there. And they will then teach their children, and their
Mm.
children will teach their children. And so it'll just be a generational effect, generation after generation, because you started with the foundational family unit.
Yes. Yes. And that's so important because we've lost so much in our family structures, and it's so important to get that back. So, I say God bless you, my dear, for the work that you're doing. It is so needed. And anybody who can bring joy into young people's lives again, I will worship you and say, keep going, gal.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheyenne, for this opportunity to share the BOLD program with your group. I'm so delighted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, thank you, change makers, for listening in and hearing about just, we haven't had as much of this kind of interview in our group yet. So I am so excited to have this because anybody who knows me and my husband knows we're all about helping the young people. And so, again, blessings to you. Thank you for what you're doing. And thank you, change makers, for tuning in. We'll see you again in the next interview. Have an awesome and amazing and blessed day.
Thank you.